I did it again. I spent way too much money on even more Super Mario Galaxy movie figures. Now, a few months ago, I bought every single Super Mario Galaxy movie figure released for the movie's first wave, and after the film released, a lot of people were... They weren't too happy with the film. However, Jakks and Nintendo and Illumination released another wave of figures depicting scenes from the movie and some characters who weren't available in the previous waves. However, due to me being in the United Kingdom, I was only able to get my hands on Wave 2's Flying Mario and Cloud Luigi, and so, to make up for not being able to get Bowser or Peach, I bought some of the other little figures from Wave 1 I was unable to obtain last time. Oh yeah, and I also managed to get a huge Chomping Bowser Jr. figure, so stick around until the end of the video to see that guy in action. However, without any more talking, let's go into the video. Did you get it? Mario? Mario.
What is that? Oh.
Speaking of Mario, this video begins with Flying Mario, a figure that when he was originally leaked, I was incredibly happy to see, and his appearance in the movie was one I was not expecting.
Yes. Oh my god. How do they make this more and more epic? Every time.
Now, the box for the figure looks beautiful as all the movie figure boxes do for these films. The shiny side of the box is something I never get tired of. It is such a cool addition to some already cool boxes. However, one thing I noticed when looking at this box a lot is that for some reason the shoes on the figure look red. They're not red, but the image that they end up using seem to always look red. Like, what are you doing, Nintendo? How dare you? However, without any more time wasted, let's start tearing this box open. Now, in the middle of tearing the box open, I need to point this out again, but they do end up adding Flying Mario to the tab of the box, which is a nice detail that most people wouldn't notice, especially people tearing open the box with such savagery like myself. Now, first we'll take a look at the red star power-up, which Mario himself uses to become Flying Mario. In all of the promo pictures for this figure, the star looked like it was plastic and just a normal accessory, but looking at this thing further in person, it's actually shiny and reflective, which was a genuine surprise and something I wasn't expecting to see. It also comes with a stand, thankfully, because this thing is not standing on its own. Isn't that a neat little red star in there, eh? And now that the accessories are out of the way, we move on to the actual figure itself, which I conveniently pulled out in the long jump pose. I don't know what's going on there and how I managed to do that. However, getting this figure out of the box, it looks incredibly clean. This might just be my bias because as a kid I thought this power-up was the coolest thing of all time. And little me absolutely loved the red and black color scheme for Mario, so to get an action figure of that color scheme with the movie line's articulation, it's like a dream come true. The articulation for this guy, like all the other figures for the Mario Galaxy movie line, is super clean and a huge step up from the figures made for the first Super Mario movie, with stuff like the hands more similar to how they did Sonic Movie 3's action figures. You know I was going to mention Sonic. Now, comparing this figure to the first wave's Mario figure is almost identical, which makes a lot of sense as all the power-up does is change Mario's outfit color and nothing else. A part of it is probably my personal bias, but I love this figure so much and I'm really happy that they made it. Keeping with the theme of Mario, we have the Galaxy Star Launcher Mario figure. Now, the only reason that I originally ended up getting this guy was because Smith's Toys Superstore's website, which is where I got these from, said it was on discount. Now, as a man that cannot resist a good old bargain, I headed on down to the store so I could get these guys and was met with the fact that they were not on discount. You can even see on the receipt I did not get a discounted price. I paid full price for these guys. Alert, I have been scammed. I have been scammed. Now, unboxing these guys carefully, being sure to not damage the packaging encasing this little guy, we can see the transparent star on the top has a tiny little peg, and the tiny little Mario has a hole in the bottom of his foot. Now, if you stick Mario in that little peg, he won't end up flying out of the launcher, so I think this is more for like display. But if you get him on the launcher and don't put him on that peg, the little Mario figure still has arm articulation, nothing too crazy. You can literally like lift his arms up and down and that's about it. Now, my personal opinion, I think that this is a neat way to create a toy version of the Star Launcher from the film. You can peg Mario on the top if you want it as a display piece, and for like £5 it's pretty neat. Only complaint is I don't know why the orange Star Launcher is at the bottom and why they launched Mario from some invisible Star Launcher at the top. Last I checked, they didn't have invisible Star Launchers, but I guess Jakks took some creative liberties on that one. Now, next we have the Luma Yo-Yo. It's a really random product, to be honest, and I'm not really sure why they made it. They did manage to make some sort of fun gimmick with it, as the Luma Yo-Yo is glow in the dark, so when you have this guy sat on a shelf somewhere or out on a desk, you can see him very clearly. Now, opening this guy up, I mean, it's a yo-yo. You can make it go up and down. I don't know any yo-yo tricks, but if you guys want me to learn some, then like the video and I'll make a short doing yo-yo tricks with my awesome Luma Yo-Yo. Now, considering this guy looks identical to the yellow Luma the Mario figure originally came with, there is actually a difference, as the Luma Mario's figure comes with has pure blue eyes, but the Luma Yo-Yo has black eyes. That is the only difference I could really notice. It's fun, it's random, and it also glows in the dark. Isn't that fun? Now, moving on to the next Wave 2 figure, not being too far away from the Mega Wonder Bowser Jr. figure, so stay tuned for that guy, we have Cloud Luigi. He's got such a sick design and the movies did him so much justice. This figure also comes with a Cloud Flower power-up and has him in a sick pose in the back of the box. Look at him, man, that's sick! Now, trying to open the box really delicately here, we're not trying to damage it in any way. It has some nice bubbly looking detail which makes it look more like a sheep flower-up compared to a cloud, but I get what they were going for. And it's kind of mean to compare it to its appearance in the movie when this is the closest we saw it in the film. Or actually, no, hold on. It doesn't look like that. It looks more like clouds and stuff like that. It doesn't...
Yes.
Yeah, no,
Very weird.
Now, just like Flying Mario, the Cloud Flower also comes with a stand as the little flowery part at the bottom is rubbery and would not be able to hold up that entire flower. From the look of the design, you've got to put the little hooks between the cloud power-up and the flower's petals. I'm not sure if that's exactly how, but I believe it is. Now, getting this guy out of the box, I unfortunately have a few complaints about this guy, the first one being that for some reason, his head will not stop wobbling. If I move the figure at all, there's a good chance his head is going to move too. Now, positive that I do like is how they did the leg articulation on this guy. He has much more oval-shaped legs in comparison to the normal legs they have on one of these figures, so I was intrigued on how they would pull that one off. But they managed to actually do it really well. His arms are just like the arms of every other figure, but despite the leg articulation working pretty well, I'll just let you see what happens for my next complaint. Is that supposed to happen? Now, I'm not sure if I pulled the leg wrong or if my figure was just unfortunate on the joints or if this is a widespread problem with this figure. But his leg came clean off. Now, I think this is most likely because of the completely different leg design, as it's never happened with any of my other Mario movie figures, but I'll give them some slack as you can just pop it back into place pretty easily. Now, comparing Cloud Luigi to normal movie Luigi, there's one really interesting detail I haven't seen talked about yet, that being for some reason, Cloud Luigi is the only figure for the Mario movie to still have the old eyes. Now, for a little bit of context, for the first Mario movies figures, they had a neat design where no matter what angle you looked at them from, their eyes would be looking right back at you. Now, for the second movie's line of figures, they didn't bring these eyes back, except for this figure, who for some reason still has them. Now, despite a few design flaws like the bubbly clouds, the head that will not stop violently shaking, and the leg that will occasionally pop off if you try and move it back too far, I still really like this figure. I am glad that they did this power up and not the frog suit, since they really seemed to be pushing that frog suit considering it had like 15 seconds of screen time. Now, considering we just opened up Luigi, we should follow what we did for Mario and check out the Luigi Star Launcher. There's not really a lot different I can say about this guy, as it is literally the exact same play gimmick and Star Launcher design as Mario's. I didn't see this last time, but they do have a little collect them all, and if enough of you want me to, I could do a part 2 to this video, getting the last two Wave 2 figures that I don't already have, as well as getting the rest of these little Star Launcher guys. So let me know if you want me to do that, but without any further ado, let's try get this guy out of the box, which seems to be locked up harder than Fort Knox. What is going on? How am I having such a hard time opening them? Okay, there you go. Now, I thought I could do it. Now, just like last time, it's time to attempt to use the Star Launcher and... Take a look at the tiny Mario Bros together. They're really nice figures considering how small they are, and they're neat little dudes I'm happy to have. These Star Launchers are basically the same, so there's not really a lot I can say for them. Now, last but not least, the moment you've been waiting for, Chomping Wonder Bowser Jr. This was one of the first figures revealed for the new wave, and considering I already have a Wonder Bowser Jr., I couldn't resist getting this guy. His play gimmick looked super fun, and I just wanted it, I'm not gonna lie. Now, this guy's box is massive. When you see how hard they lock this thing down, it might actually be the most complicated box design for no reason. It's like they're trying to contain the actual Bowser Jr. I don't know what they're doing. Now, on the back of the box, we can see the figure in action with his gaping wide open mouth as he begins to paint the base with his paintbrush. There's also images of interchangeable top pieces for the brush which replicate other ways they've used the brush in the film, which is super neat. Now, there's also a promo for a Minus World playset, which if this video gets enough likes, I'll buy for another video. Go like and subscribe! Now, here begins the incredibly complicated process of attempting to open up this box. It was incredibly hard to open and was incredibly loud, which would usually be fine, but...
Not exaggerating when I say this. It's 1 a.m. It is 1:30 a.m. I'm gonna die.
Now, they do come with an instruction booklet which shows you how to paint the little base, how to make Bowser Jr. open his mouth, and how to change the brush pieces out. Comparing the paintbrush on this Bowser Jr. figure to the paintbrush on the Bowser Jr. Clown Car set, the newer paintbrush is much bigger than the non-Wonder paintbrush. Now, pulling off the... Okay, that wasn't meant to... Now, pulling off the brush part, you can see the awesome spear in action. And just to be safe, it does not hurt, it doesn't hurt, it doesn't hurt at all, it doesn't hurt. Trying even harder to get this guy out of the plastic. It is literally so hard. What is happening? I did eventually manage to get it out of the plastic and try opening Bowser Jr.'s mouth, which you activate by pulling down on the blue hair on the top of his head. It also lifts his hand up, which I believe is inspired from a moment in the film. If I'm right, it's on screen now, and if I'm wrong, then I'll just explode and burn. You can also use this to talk, which I got a little bit into.
You put my father in the lava like he's trash?
Now, you can stick Bowser Jr. to this base as there's little holes on his feet, and have him stood on the base isn't that fun. Now, there is a little part for him to hold his paintbrush, but I had a lot of troubles with getting that to work and really could not do it. Now, last time I didn't paint with the paintbrush, and a few of you in the comments called me out on that one, so I had to use the paintbrush this time as it just wouldn't be right to leave you all mad at me. Now, in comparison to the original Wonder Bowser Jr. figure from Wave 1, we can see this dude is way bigger than him. His design on the bandana looks a little different since it needs to be used for the open mouth, and apart from stuff like that, it's basically the same figure. figure. And after almost half an hour of tearing figures open at 1 a.m, we are done, and I shall hand you off to actual recording Mason to wrap it up. Get going, you sexy demon.
And that is everything. Thank you for watching me. It's 1 a.m. I've got so much cleaning up to do. Thank you for watching, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Goodbye now. Bye-bye. Goodbye.